OYTPC, Joshua Stewart, pipe up north. Where to begin? Well, it's hot and humid in Minnesota here this week and getting worse every day. Well, the shop that I work in doesn't have anything for climate control, so if it's hot outside, it's hot inside. And with some of the equipment, sometimes it's hotter inside than it is outside. But fortunately, the wind direction today kind of helped, so it wasn't as horrible as it could be. But my shop at home here has AC in. I shut it off for the video because it's too noisy otherwise. But might as well get the housekeeping, as they say, out of the way. Some Samuel Gawith 1792 Flake. I'm smoking at my Mitchell Thomas rusticated bent. Now both of these picked up at the Ivan Rees, I'll try to say that as close to correct as I can. Ivan Rees in Chicago. I recorded a video kind of going into more detail about that a day or two ago, but I'll be trying my hand at editing, so that video might be a little bit before it gets out because I've got to get to my computer, which I haven't been on my actual computer in a number of days because I can't splice videos together with anything on my phone. So, or at least I don't know how to. I can figure it out on the computer, but I gotta say this 1792 Flake, I think we found another top 5. I got some other Samuel Gawith. I got the full Virginia Flake, not at Even Rees, but through mail order, internet order, whatever you want to call it. Been trying to get a hold of some for months, and I finally got it. I think I shared about that on a previous video, how it was built up in my head to be some wonderful thing. And I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, but it didn't live up to my expectations. But some have said that it needs a couple years of age to really shine, so I'll probably just jar it up and let it set for a couple years. But the 1792 Flake, that stuff, and this, I think I figured this going by the date code that this is April of this year. Maybe somebody else can figure it out better than I can, but I think if I decoded it right, that's what it is. So it's basically fresh. This is actually the second bowl of this that I've had today. Well, half bowl. Because I did have one bowl, was it yesterday or the day before? Might have been when I was recording that video about the Yvonne Rees, and you know, gotta be careful. It seems like got just a little bit of a nick hit to it. So I only put about probably not even half a flake, probably about a third of a flake at a time is all I put in there. And the first one, I don't think I broke it up fine enough or let it dry enough. So my first bowl tonight, had right when I got home from work, broke up, like I say, about a third of a flake. Let it dry for probably a half hour. And it smokes pretty good. And I ended up putting a screen in the bottom of this just to, because I mean this Mitchell Thomas, I mean it's not a high-end pipe. And the hole comes in a little bit high off the bottom, so there ends up being a lot of dottle in the bottom that just doesn't burn because there's no air movement. So I put the screen in there so I can get everything up. And so I let the stuff dry, and now it's hitting the spot. So yeah, this is one that I think I'm going to have to start whenever it's in stock, I'll have to get a tin or two. Got a busy weekend coming up again. Be going down to my parents, try to help them move a few more things, because I think their final day to be off the farm is 17th, something like that. And there's been somebody there, either mom and dad or some of their friends or some of the cousins or friends and neighbors, been helping get stuff moved. So whatever we don't get out is probably just going to get bulldozed. And when I was a kid in the house, Dad, when I was really young, he was a farmer, so he had some spare time in the winter usually. Then as I got older, he started doing like construction contract. He had a little contracting business. Mostly did a lot of roofing and siding. Did a few like garages and house additions and things like that. But that work is all pretty slow in the winter. So, and Dad, he liked to do finer woodworking. So the one winter, the house had been under construction for, I mean, he was doing it all himself. And our living room, dining room had been in just sheetrock, basically like I got in here. Though I think it was mudded. This in here hasn't been mudded yet, but we lived like that for quite a few years without any paint on the walls in the living room, because he was just trying to do everything as he had cash to do it, and he didn't want to paint it until all the woodwork was in place. So he built all his own from scratch, built a, a window seat in the bay window, and built a couple of corner cabinets, and built, put a whole bunch of molding on, and built um, a staircase and stuff, all out of oak, and beautiful. But I don't know if we'll be able to salvage too much, but I might try to get in there and salvage some of the staircase, because I remember helping with that quite a bit when I think I was probably about 12 or so when he did that. But like I say, the problem is everything's built in. It's going to be hard to remove without breaking it into pieces. Especially those corner cabinets, they're beautiful, but I don't know if we're going to be able to salvage them. Like I was talking to Dad the other day. Well, maybe at least salvage the doors off of them or something. And maybe someday I can build a cabinet for my house or one of the kids' house, around those doors or something. And on the staircase, I mean, he built the newel post from scratch and the railing from scratch, and the only thing that was purchased was the spindles for the stairway. And they came out of a old Louisiana plantation house that was built in like the 1840s, and he bought those spindles in like the 1980s. Of course, they had 20 coats of paint on them when he got them. So stripped them all down, and I remember I got stuck spending hours and hours sanding. We had a little system set up where they'd go on the lathe, and we'd sand and sand and sand, and of course there was probably at least 50 of these spindles that we had to do this to. So I'd like to at least try to salvage those spindles. They'll be easy to salvage, but and the doors will be easy to salvage, but yeah, those cabinets, that's going to be a shame if I don't know how you're going to be able to get them out without them falling to pieces. So anyway, probably take part of the day off work on Friday, and of course it's supposed to be over 90 degrees and humid. So that'll add to the fun. But as much as it sucks right now, even if we do end up losing some things to the bulldozer, it'll be kind of nice to just be done with it all too. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, I made a video a couple weeks ago kind of telling the situation. I would say I'll put a link, but I'm not sure how to do that, so you'll have to look through my old videos. I don't remember, titled something about the situation with my parents' farm or something like that. And I've got a couple of cars that got to get out of there too. Got the car that I drove in high school because I kept it because I remember my dad and all his friends, they always said, I wish I'd have kept the car I had in high school. So I did. And it needs some work. I mean, I could probably get it drivable in a day, but it's been sitting outside for 30 years, so it needs some definite cosmetic work. Old 78 Monte Carlo. Had a lot of fun in that car. But oh, well, another thing, I was working on that pipe stand that I shared in I think the previous video. I'm refurbishing. I'm getting closer on it. I was putting a coat of tung oil on it, and all of a sudden the wife runs out here and get in the house quick. I could tell by the tone of her voice it was not something that just a minute I'll be there. It was a drop what you're doing and get in there now. It turns out, well, we got a rescue dog. He's been with us for about a year and a half now. And he's overly attached, we'll say, to my youngest daughter. And when she's not around, he's just sad. So whenever she walks in the door, he gets so excited and can't hardly control himself. And she loves him just as much right back. And so they run to each other, and he jumps on her, and they give each other kisses and stuff, which I find gross, but whatever. And he was so excited when she came home today. He went up to lick her face, and his teeth hit her teeth, and it chipped one of her front teeth. So I went in there, her wife came out and got me. Went out there, and she's sobbing like nothing's, and kind of find out what happened, and she wouldn't even let me look. It started to click that she wasn't so injured as that she's worried how she's going to look, which, I mean, that's a 16-year-old girl for you. So found out it basically just chipped a tooth. And I don't know how they do it, but I know dentists can fix that easy enough. And she was like, oh, I'm not going to go to work tomorrow. And it's like, well, you can go to work. I mean, we'll get a hold of the dentist and they'll fix you right up. Not that big a deal. They probably have that, or people come in with that once a week. But she's like, I'm ruined forever. Tears rolling out of her eyes. And it's like, no, it'll be fine. But she's pretty proud of her smile. I mean, we spent, I'm scared to even remember how many thousands of dollars for her to get her braces a couple of years ago. And so she feels like it's all ruined now and never be the same. And it's like, a week after the dentist fixes her up, she'll forget it even happened. So anyway, that's my day. Then my weekend coming up. So I probably won't get a video made this weekend. Might get one made Sunday night. We'll see. Might even make one down at Mom and Dad's. Who knows? I'm gonna have to bring that Captain Black Platinum with because I think Dad'll like that. You might have to bring some of this 1792 Flake too. I know he didn't like Borkum Riff. I don't think he's ever had too much of the, we'll call them the premium blends, because he always complained they were too wet. Which this stuff, he would definitely say is too wet, but rambled on for a while again. Well, I better call it here. Hope you watched it at speed and a half again. Save yourself a few minutes so you got more time to watch other people's stuff. No Mittens here tonight. He's up on his perch up there, just kind of keeping an eye on things. So with that, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this. I probably got, by the looks of it, I got maybe 10 minutes worth, maybe 15 left in here. Unless I get hit with the Nick bomb all of a sudden, then I'm going to have to set it down. But it's not hitting me too hard yet. So anyway, Joshua Stewart, Pipe Up North. You have a good day.